Hey guys, welcome back for another review. I'm in my new place again, and I just have to say, anytime you move to a new spot, there's some lighting adjustments that need to take place, and so I'm still working through that. Hopefully it's a little better this time than last time. I feel like the last few videos I did, the lighting was just a little bit off, so I'm switching things around and hopefully it's a little better this time. Today I'm going to talk about the new Essie Expressie collection called Dial It Up. So if you're new to Essie Expressie, this is their new line that came out a few years ago. I do have a review and kind of overview of that whole line in a YouTube video, and I will link that in my description below. I'll try to throw something up maybe at the end of this video as well so you guys can check that out. It's their quick dry line. They have an interesting brush, which I'm still trying to figure out if I really love or not. It's easy to use. It's not that big a deal, but it does take a little bit of adjusting at first, and then once I get used to it, I'm pretty used to it and it's fine. So it's angled, the brush is angled, so it's meant to be put on pretty quickly, like in your car or on the go, and that's the whole point of the Essie Expressie line. So this is their new collection. It has 10 polishes in it. There's 3 jellies, 3 creams with a silvery shimmer running through them, and then there's 4 just straight up creams. I did find it was a pretty good collection and definitely a little bit interesting. I purchased these on Ulta's website. I believe they are still available there. I will put a link down in my description of any of the places that I find them to make it easier for you guys to find them too. And let's talk about them. We're going to start off with the creams. The first one I have here is Millennium Momentum, and this is a beautiful beige nude color. I'm really liking these beige nudes. Morgan Taylor just came out with one in their winter line, and this one's pretty close to that one. I would say it's closest to this than any other polish that I found in my collection. So I did compare it to Topless Beach, and that one's a little bit more pink, and then I also compared it to Rainwear Don't Care, and that one's a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit more yellow. They are kind of close, but they're not exactly the same. So I think I kind of like this shade the best out of all those that I mentioned, but I really like this one. I really like the formula. It goes on so nicely. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats, and it's just a really beautiful cream shade. And let's get into the comparisons for it. This next one is in the Modem, and I love this beautiful kind of sage mint color. It is so pretty. The formula is really great. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats, and instantly it reminded me of Maximilian Strauss-Her. I don't know if I've ever said that right, but I think I am. Anyway, I love that polish so much, and it's actually quite a bit lighter than that one. So I pulled out Essie Sage You Love Me, the Gel Couture. That one's like almost exactly the same. This one might be slightly, ever so slightly more green, but it's closest to that one. So Maximilian Strauss-Her is going to be a little bit darker, like a few shades darker than this, but I love these color tones. This kind of polish, like mint and sage, go with any color. They go good with red, they go good with anything, and so that's one of the reasons that I really like to wear them, and I think they're just really flattering on any skin tone, and so I really enjoy this one quite a bit. And let's get into those comparisons. The next one we have here is Shook, and it's this beautiful bright yellow. It's not as bright as it's showing up here on the camera. It's a little bit deeper and maybe a little bit more, has a little bit more brown in it than it's showing up. Yellows are really hard to get the true color, and hopefully you can see that here in my live swatch video. But it's got a beautiful formula. It's going to be opaque in 2, maybe 2. Yellows are hard. It's kind of hard to get them opaque in 2 coats. I think you might need 3 depending on your application, but it has a really nice formula for a yellow. I knew I needed to pull out Essie Gel Couture Avant Garment and compare it to this one. This one is actually a little bit darker than that one, so they are different. I did find it pretty close to Opaque. I just can't Copacabana, so if you kind of want to know what shade it is, then it's pretty close to that one. That was like the one that I found that it was almost a dupe for. So pretty unique to Essie's line, but Opaque has done a lot of shades like this, but it's new to the Essie Expressie line, so it should be a good one for that line. And let's get into those comparisons. The next one I have is Up, Up and Away Message, and and I really liked this beautiful medium toned blue that almost leans a little bit teal. It's got a really nice creamy formula. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats, and I love these types of blues as well. Anything that leans a little bit green I really love, and I compared it to several polishes. In the Cabana is a touch lighter and brighter. It's like more of a bright summery shade, but it is kind of the same color tone. And then it was a touch darker than some of the OPI shades that I have, and so couldn't find any Essies that were really close to this, and I could be missing some. Let me know in the comments down below if you think of any that it might be close to, but I don't have any blues that are kind of this color tone that lean a little bit more green that aren't completely teal. Essie has a lot of like green teals, but not a lot of blues that lean a little bit teal. So anyway, I did find it quite unique, at least in Essie's line, and I really love shades like this. And let's get into the comparisons. Okay, so that's it for the creams. Let's talk about the jellies next. So these are really interesting. This jelly formula is really sheer, just so you guys know. So I think you really have to have a taste for sheers to really appreciate these polishes. This first one is Mall Crawler, and it's this beautiful light purple toned pink, which are my favorite pinks to wear. It immediately reminded me of Essie's Splash of Grenadine, which I really love. It's one of my favorite Essie shades. I've loved it for a long time. And it is kind of that same color tone, but this is so sheer. It's still going to be able to see your nail line even with 3 coats, so it's just meant to be that way, but it's squishy looking and see-through. I think you could layer some glitter under there and make like a jelly sandwich, which people have done before, which I have never done. I think a large group of people are really gonna like these jelly polishes. So it's along that same color tone when you look at it in the bottle, but when you're swatching them on the nails, you can't really compare them because this is just meant to be a sheer. OPI has a lot of pink sheers, but they're more of like a true pink or like a white pink instead of like this purple toned pink. So this one is quite unique. I have nothing like it in my collection. I just did these comparisons so you guys could kind of see what color tone that it is. And let's get into those comparisons. This next one I have is Turn Up the Century. It's another jelly polish. This is a beautiful purple toned fuchsia color. I really love these color tones too. These are my favorite color tones to wear, the pinks that lean purple. It's got that same jelly formula, so you're still going to be able to see that nail line even with 3 coats, but it builds up a little bit nicer than that other one because it's a little deeper color. It's very interesting. It's the same color tone as like Flowerista, and I think I also compared it to Raspberry. Raspberry's a little bit more red. While they look the same in the bottle, they're not going to be the same on the nail at all, again, because this one's really sheer. Let's get into those comparisons so that you guys can see that. This next one is Skip the Track, and this is probably my favorite out of all 3 jellies that they have here in this collection. It's a really beautiful blue toned purple, and I love blue toned purples as well. They really have a lot of color tones in here that I love, but these sheers just kind of threw me a little bit. So even with 3 coats, you're still going to see that nail line. It's meant to be a jelly. That's what it is. I couldn't find any Essie polishes that were like this exact same color tone. They were either too blue or too purple, so it's kind of right in between. It's kind of close to Pedal Pushers, but a little more purple. I found it to be quite close to that one, which I was really surprised by. And then it's not as pink as some shades that Essie has that are kind of the same color tone. I will let you check that out in the comparisons coming up next. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you are creams with this really subtle shimmer running through them. Let's talk about this one. This one's called We Don't Mesh, and it's an interesting shade. I have to say it's really interesting. It's like this yellow toned green. It's really out there. It's really different. It's got that silver shimmer running through it. I love the shimmer in here because it really is just a nice veining of shimmer. It's not streaky. Am I tired of shimmer and pearl and glitter right now? A little bit. So I wasn't super excited. I have to say, when I had this on my nails, it kind of reminded me of pus. Ugh. I hate to say it, but I didn't really like it with my skin tone. Not my fave. And then I compared it to that baby poop color that I always talk to you about. So the comparison picture that I'm going to show you is very interesting, but that's coming up next. This is going to be opaque in 2 coats. It's got a really nice formula. This is called We Don't Mesh, and I'm sorry, but we don't mesh. I don't dig this kind of color. Sorry. I think there's a lot of people out there that will though. That's okay. Let me show you that comparison picture now. Then we have Wet the Tech, and it's this kind of slate gray with that silver, really subtle shimmer running through there. This is going to be opaque in 1 to 2 coats. It has a really, really fantastic formula. I was really impressed with the formula on these last 3 shades, and I don't have anything that's exactly the same with this. I did throw up a few comparisons. I have like Tribal Textiles, but as you can see, that one's going to be totally different because it has more glitter. And then I did Don't Take Yosemite for Granted from Opaque, and that one's a little bit more brown tone, but kind of the same idea. And then what else did I compare it to? And then it was closest to, for the twill of it, it's like it's got that same color tone. The only thing it's missing is that flash from green to purple. So it's kind of that same color tone. So if you like that polish, I think you're really gonna like this one. And let's get into those comparisons. And the last one we have here is the namesake. It's called Dial It Up, and it's this beautiful deeper purple with that same subtle silver shimmer running through there. It's really beautiful. It's got a nice opaque formula, so that it's got a nice opaque formula. It's going to be opaque in 1 coat. I like to always do 2 though, because these kind of slightly metallic or shimmery polishes dry down more flat, and so you can see your nail ridges a little bit. So I do like to build them up with 2 coats anyway. But I liked this one. I didn't really do any comparisons to this one just because there's nothing really like this one. This is a more blue toned purple, and it's not as deep as some of the other ones that they have. So this one's quite unique. I just didn't put any comparisons together for it just because I don't know. I didn't find it necessary because it's quite unique. That's the namesake of the collection. Okay, so let's talk about my favorites, and you're not going to be surprised. But I picked 3 creams, and these are my favorite from the collection for sure. So this one is in the Modem, this beautiful sage color. And then we have a Millennium Momentum, and then Up, Up, and Away Message. So these are my favorites. I'm just kind of over all the shimmer. I'm just ready to be over it. I don't know, I just feel like I've been getting so much shimmer coming in, so I'm ready for more cream. What are your thoughts? Have you guys tried the Essie Expressie line? I would love to know what your thoughts are about it. Are you really enjoying it? Do you find yourself purchasing a lot from that line? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for being here. I will put links to that Essie Expressie line review that I have done. It shows the application and the brush and everything close up so you can get an idea of what everything's like. Don't forget to like. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.